Hello guys, my name's Calvin, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to customize Bootstrap navigation bars. And this is mostly going to be in CSS, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the HTML, but this area here it's mostly just a navigation bar with, this is just container, the header, and then here are the list items. And I just have really basic text right here, and the rest of it's just like the Bootstrap, the JavaScript, and importing or linking the CSS files. And then I have 3 other pages that are basically the same, that are just titled differently, just so I can have stuff on the navigation bar. So basically, this is what it looks like to start. It just has the text here, and it has the different tabs. So this top part basically just sets up the navigation bar so that we can start editing it, and it just sets the display so that it's on a single line. Takes away the float so the spacing isn't weird, and sets the line to top. And these are some really useful tags that you need to know if you want to edit a lot of the different parts of the navbar. This one is just the navbar dash nav is the it's the actual navigation bar itself. It's the list, and the dot navbar is the container for the list. It's just a container. The list item, the ahref, the link in the list item, and the navbar does brand is the brand that's usually next to the items in the list. But I took that away because I just didn't want it. And navbar dash default is the default navbar container. It's another container. So so here's an example of what you can do, really basic stuff with just the container, which is .navbar. And I'm just setting the text align to center, and that does this. It centers it. If I were to comment this out, I actually already had it there, but if I comment it out and refresh, then it's not centered anymore. And because it's in the container, it doesn't go all the way to the edge because the container adjusts depending on the size. But so if you want to center it, then you just have to do text align center. Moving on. So this one, usually you want to edit the A because the list items are a little bit weird to change, so it's easier just to change the A. So here I'm just changing the font size and the padding around that. So if I uncomment this, it should change the font size and make it bigger because, So now they're bigger and there's more padding on the sides. And it's also easier to just set the containers so that they have no margin or padding, just so that it doesn't affect anything right now, but in the future it'll make everything easier to edit. So these are the 2 containers that you want to take away the margin padding for. You don't have to, but it's easier to start with 0, and then you can add them later if you want some. So here's also a way to change the navbar if you just wanted to change either the collapsed version or the not collapsed version. So you just do that with the @media tag with this. And if you if you do min width 768 pixels, that means that it'll only do it if it's 768 pixels. The width of the screen is 768 pixels or greater. So, and 768 is the point where it breaks and goes to the collapse mode with the button that does a drop down menu. So that's why I did 768. And so in this, I'm gonna uncomment it, and the .navbar and .navbar collapse are just the containers. So I'm just setting the text align to center, which we actually already did, so we don't really need to do that. We can just take that out. But so this is just setting the brand, and which is basically a list item, but it's usually next to list item. Again, I took it out. and then I'm editing the individual items, the links within the items. So that's changing. I'm just changing the font size, the weight, some of the padding, and the width, the height. And I'm setting the width and the height, which you don't really want to do when it's collapsed, because then that can kind of mess up the if you want to align it, or if you want to center it or something. It's just something, yeah. So this is what you do if you don't want to have it on the collapsed version also. And I also set the line height. So if we refresh it, it changes kind of the spacing, and all the widths are going to be the same, which makes it look nicer. So yeah, and it won't change it for if we do this, we click, then it's already centered because we did that earlier. But if we take out the part that we changed earlier, which is here, which will affect everything, then you'll see that that this is just the normal thing. It has text align center because we wrote that outside the media tag also, which we did up here. So it's centered, but it's the original font size and everything. But if we expand it past 768 pixels, it goes back to the one we customized in the media tag down here, in this tag. So we can also do the same with the collapsed version. So I'm going to take out these comments, and you can see here that the max width is 767, which is probably the amount you want if your other one is 768. And this is .navbar.navbar-nav, which is both the container and the lists in the container. So everything's basically aligned to the right, because that's if we want all the things in the drop-down menu to be aligned to the right. And I'm also changing the individual list items, the font size, and the padding on them. So now if we refresh and we change the size down to this, and then, oh, I guess that didn't work. Oh, we have to take out this, because if you have something that's outside the media tag, then it's gonna always be true, even in the media tags. So ideally we would take this out. If we don't want that to be true in one but only the other, then we should put it right in here, because then it will only happen in the top one, and we don't want it to happen this way. So now you see it's aligned to the right. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.